A formidable pairing. He holds all sorts of age group records, the world number 3 this year. There's the Australian Joe Deng, former Sudanese, moved to Australia at 6, now proud to run in the Australian colours, and he set an Australian record earlier on this season. That was back on the 8th of 7th. And Mark English, as Rob said earlier, qualified doctor, the European indoor bronze medalist, a European Championship bronze medalist, excuse me, last summer in Munich, the Irishman. He's in lane 2, always a very, very consistent racer. He's kept low-key racing this year as Mark English. Heat 2. So Max Bergin, who's in the blue there in lane 4 for Great Britain, loves to front run. I wonder if he'll take this one out. Holds all sorts of age group records, but he's been injured for the Olympics back in Tokyo. He had deep vein thrombosis through last year, missed out on Eugene as well. So this is him performing in a global senior championships for the first time, and he will be very keen to give good account of himself. Joe Deng on the inside, doesn't want to lead. In fact, he's gone so slow that there's collisions there now. Mark English suffering a little bit there, running into the back of Anderson, the Jamaican. But this is not the Max Bergin we're used to. He likes to lead. We so often see him go out in around 50 seconds. He led the UK Championships, Rob, in under 50 seconds at 400 run.
This is more measured.
Holds all sorts of
I think he's perhaps learned not to go out quite so hard. Just inside 51 seconds at the bell, and most of them still in touch. English, I'm not sure, has recovered from that interruption to his momentum at around about 300 metres. Bergin needs full concentration here because they're all beginning to queue up behind him, with Deng stuck on the inside at the moment.
Deng boxed at the moment. The Hungarian getting a huge draw from the crowd. In second place there, Huller. Bergin kicks again with 200 to run. Smart racing that. Make it hard for them to come past you. Doubly hard as the bender's in his favour. Now Deng, the Australian record holder, moves on to his shoulder. He's been training at Ifran up in Morocco with Joe Deng, and looking very relaxed indeed. Huller having a fabulous run as well. Anderson's training in the yellow of Jamaica to get into the top 3, but I don't think he's going to make it, and neither is Mark English in the green of Ireland. It's the first 3 who ease across the line there. It might have been Huller who took it from Max Bergin. Well, Huller, if he's won that one, that'll get the crowd fired up. The winning time, 1:45.40. Lovely, relaxed run. It was Borkowski, in fact, who came home for the win. Bergin second, Deng third. It wasn't Huller, unfortunately. Similar kit, similar strip, but a really solid run there from Borkowski, the Olympic semi-finalist from Poland. Went out in the heats in Eugene last year, so he's gone one stage better already. But Bergin made sure, Rob, it was a reasonable quality race, didn't he? He was so relaxed, I couldn't believe he was sub 51 at 400. It was like an optical illusion.
That was an important run for Max Bergin because a lot of expectation was placed on his shoulders by the lightning quick individual times he's produced, but his injuries have made people doubt whether he is a major championship contender. Mark English got a real shove with about 100 to go before we reached the bell, and he did well to get back into the race to 4th in the end, coming home in a season's best of 1:45.71, but it cost him a lot of momentum. Bergin raced well here, and I loved the way that Deng, from a position of looking like he was a little bit boxed, with about 150 to go, he found a gap and just really smoothly came out onto Bergin's shoulder. I think Deng's got a lot more in the tank where that came from come the semi-finals.
There's no doubt he has. He apparently was doing some 200 strides a couple of days ago, and his agent said to me he looked absolutely the mustard. He looked fantastic, very, very smooth. And all 3 of those guys, to be fair, looking very, very controlled. Borkowski, Bergin and Deng, 1, 2, 3. Mark English, as you said, Rob, a season's best for 4th place. Let's have confirmation now of that second heat. Borkowski, Bergin and Deng all qualify, looking like they've got plenty in reserve. Mark English, well, his season's best. He has been in low-key races this year. It's his 6th World Championships. If he could go through, it'd be wonderful. But does 1:45.71 at the moment look enough? Yes, it does. But there's 5 heats to come. It's going to be very, very difficult. And 1:45.7, I'm not sure if that'll cut it, Rob.
Well, and the other athletes will know that that's exactly the time required. But English in one of those non-automatic spots at the moment. So too Navaski, Anderson of Jamaica, 1:45.81.
The athletes here in the call room for the women's discus. Nervous moments for them, but they get several bites at the cherry. Of course, 12 competitors out there. It includes Sandra Perkovic of Croatia, the double Olympic champion. Perkovic, 33 years old now. Her nickname is Beba. Her sporting hero is none other than her compatriot Blanka Vlasic, who I know is here as a spectator in Budapest. Each of these athletes has their own little routine, their own preparations. It can be psychological, it can be little patterns and habits that you adopt and you like to maintain and repeat to give reinforcement. Corinda van Klinken, well, she is one of the medal favourites. She's third best in the world this year, Van Klinken. Bronze medalist last year in Munich at the European Championships. And just missed out on the medals in Eugene last year. How she'd love to go at least one place better and get onto the rostrum here. But this is a pretty open final, frankly. Remember, all have 3 throws in the top 8 after round 3. We'll go on to have 3 further throws. You can almost see the steam coming off that. It looks like a soup bowl.
It is hot. It is sticky, but it's tremendously atmospheric, and this is a tremendously competitive heat of the men's 800 meters. Amel Tuka's had some great performances over the years. Not quite as his 142.5 shape. Isaiah Harris has been around a while.
Pretty
6 times
open
second
final,
in the US champs. Saul Ordonis, world indoor bronze a couple of years ago. Second in Stockholm and 1 off Strava. Mark English and Anderson are in those non-automatic spots at the moment. Anderson's time 1:45.81. All they can do now is sit and watch. Mark English's compatriot John Fitzsimmons, twice a national champion on the outside, sub 1:46 so far this year. Alan Chura of Malawi, national champion last year. Then to Alfo Ferry, Asian indoor champion from Kuwait, made the semis in London 6 years ago. John Rivera of Puerto Rico, second in the NCAA champs a couple of years ago. Sajati, silver medalist last year, won the Stockholm Diamond League. He is the 12th fastest in history over 600 meters. He can really turn on the sprint. So can this guy. I was fascinated to find in the stats, Amel Tuka's 100 PB is a windy 10.93. Bronze in Beijing in 15, silver in Doha. Alex Kipngetich, world junior silver medalist 4 years ago. And then to Isaiah Harris. Remember how he limped round in the heats in a mixed 4x4 last year. His hamstring had snapped and he still made it round the last 150. Saul Ordonis of Spain, 3:34 1500 meter runner, 1:43.5 at his best over the 8. He's gone 1:40.
This makes it a real lottery over this last 300.
It certainly does, because they are very unlikely. Wow, a real exchange there between Sajati and Kipngetich, who had to fight his way round on the outside. It was so slow on the first lap, we're unlikely to get anyone other than the automatic 3 through here. Look at this acceleration from Kippengetic. He might have had to fight his way on the outside around about 50 metres onto the first bend on the second lap, but it was an effective move. He wants to make absolutely certain. Blistering acceleration here. Ordonez trying to come through on the inside. Sajati using his raw speed on the outside. Isaiah Harris trying to get his hands on the third spot. Oh, shoving on the line. They all realised there were only 3 going through. Kippengetic making sure, so too Sajati, and it was Ordonez who got the third spot. Harris might end up getting disqualified for that shove towards the line. He was desperate to get his hands on that third spot, but it was too little too late.
But that matters not a jot, Rob. The American champion's gone out. That was so slow, there's no way he's going to go through. He was in 4th place, disqualification, kind of irrelevant. You're playing with fire if you let it be that slow at 400, and he just had his fingers very badly burnt, I'm afraid.
Well, when you see the replay of the finish, it looked like Harris was almost shoving Ordonez. Such was his desperation. He's a really good athlete, but as you said, Tim, there is no way with a 55 plus change first lap that the likes of Anderson was going to be superseded for a non-automatic berth. He's okay with 1:45.81.
Well, Tuka is not the force he used to be. We know that. He was down the field. Kippengetic, Sajati and Ordonez. Kenya, Algeria and Spain. They go through okay. Harris is a fast racer and a good racer normally, but he doesn't have lightning quick finishing speed. He looks really awkward to the left of the screen there. Hunched-shouldered, punching away at the air. But you can see, oh yeah, Ordonez getting a shove there. And what the Spaniard was doing, easing off, when he knew bodies would be coming back at him, I don't know. That was a little naive from Ordonez. Smart running from the Kenyan and Kippengetic, Rob, just to stay well clear of any trouble.
I really like the speed with which he accelerated. Harris was moving very uncomfortably there. He didn't have a very high leg lift. I wonder whether he's still suffering. I know it was a year ago. I wonder whether his natural running rhythm was disrupted by that grade 2 hamstring tear that he suffered in the mixed heats last year in Eugene. He looked very, very awkward down that last 25-30 metres.
He's always run like that. He's always had those very hunched shoulders style of running, but how relaxed does he look here? Kippengetic, 1:44.2 is his best. He wins in, what, 1:47.63, so he had some 3.5 seconds in hand, and I suspect he's in personal best shape. That is a great shame for Isaiah Harris. He's 1:44.8 this year. You have to take responsibility. If a race is going to be slow through the first 200, move to the front and turn it up a little bit. Get it respectable through the first 400.
So it's still
a chance.
So it's still Masalele, Botswana, Mark English, and Anderson of Jamaica. 1:45.6, 1:45.7, and 1:45.8. But there's a lot of good runners still to come. It's going to be an anxious 20 minutes or so as they watch the rest of the heats.
4 heats to come, and here is heat 3. That's the result of heat 3, excuse me, Rob.
Yes, Kippengetic with great acceleration. Sadachi needed his legendary speed down the last 100 metres, and Ordonez just holding on from Isaiah Harris. Kenya, Algeria and Spain safely through to the semis.
Well, the semi-finals for the 800-metre athletes this evening, these men, are on Thursday. They've got 48 hours rest. They can afford to give everything. This is the heat map for the last 400 metres. You can see there from 400 to 500. Ordonez accelerated down the back straight, really blasted that top bend. Look there, that top line between 600 and 700, and maintained that tempo. Look at the red there, from 700 through to 800. Kippengetic blitzed the first 50 of the home straight there. That third line down, look at the right-hand end of it, that dark red, and then was able to ease off at the line.
Kippengetic is a great athlete because it's not just about the speed in the middle distance, is it? It's the speed with which you can accelerate.
Exactly.
And he is so quick in that department, so quick.
Especially in a tactical race like that. Well, we hope this one isn't as tactical It's heat 4 of the men's 800 metres. 3 more to come after this. It's a packed event. It's packed with talent too. Daniel Rowden of Great Britain goes in lane 1, the UK champion, 1:43.95 back on the 21st of July, new personal best. He's in fine form. Out in lane 9 is Adrian Ben of Spain. 5th in Tokyo Olympic Games, Ben. He's only 25. He's a good athlete, the Spanish champion this year. 6th in the World Championships back in 2019. And he's strong too. 3:33, 1500 strength. Ferguson Chariot Rotich, 2nd in the Olympic Games in Tokyo. 33 years old now, the Kenyan, but he'll have been strengthened by seeing his compatriot Kipngetich win that previous heat, heat 3. This is heat 4, remember. Rotich, 1:44.7 this year. Blaudek, Marino Blaudek of Croatia goes in lane 7. He's a 1:46 performer, might struggle here. The Norwegian Ole Jakob Solbu goes in 6, 1:45 this season, a personal best for him. Ostrowski of Poland goes in 5, the 22-year-old, 2nd in the Polish Championships. Bryce Hoppel, 4th in Doha back in 2019. He's the world indoor bronze medalist from last year, but he was US champion this year. I think I said earlier that Isaiah Harris was US champion. I was wrong. It's Hoppel that's US champion. NCAA champion back in 2020. He's a fabulous racer, really consistent Hoppel too. Abdullahi Hassan of Canada goes in lane 3, 2nd in the Canadian Championships. And there is Daniel Rowden, perhaps on this season's form, starts as favourite here, but this is not a Diamond League race. There's no pacemakers, so it's a little bit harder to call. He's an Olympic semi-finalist, Rowden. Had quite a lot of injuries, but he's a huge talent in lane 2 for Britain. So 8 men then in this 4th heat of 7 in the men's 800 metres. Is anybody going to take it out quick? Hoppel likes a healthy tempo, and Rowden too on the inside has gone off pretty quickly from lane 2. Glances across there to see what's going on. Look how slowly Rotich of Kenya has gone off. He's right at the back, just sizing up the field, but that's about a 15-metre gap between him and the rest. And the headbanded Norwegian Solbu maybe recognises that, the Norwegian champion, moves to the 4, complete with dark glasses, and pushes it along. And that'll wake up the slightly sleepy approach of the Kenyan Rotich with about 250 done.
Well, it's strange, Tim, because 2 of the best tacticians in this race, Adrian Ben and Ferguson Rotich, are miles off the pace, and this is more like it. 51 plus change, and the Norwegian desperate to keep this pace going. And surely, if Rotich doesn't have a problem, he's got to close this gap soon.
Well, Rotich was probably 2 seconds down at the bell. 51.22 is quick. Hoppel on the inside. Blaudek in 2nd place there on the outside, the Croatian. Now he moves to the 4. Smart running from Rowden. He was there or thereabouts through 400, and he's in 3rd place now as the Spaniard moves down the outside. Adrian Ben into 3rd place, Rowden in 4th. Only 3 go through by right, remember. The Pole moving around the outside, Ostrowski. The Norwegian is out the back door. The Kenyan still struggling at the moment. Rotich has got a lot of running to come. 2nd from the back. Now Ben for Spain. And Hoppel. And Rowden's got to look into the first 3 here to be sure of it. Can he get through? Can he find daylight? It's Ben of Spain. Hoppel of USA. And Rowden of Great Britain comes through for 3rd place, with Ostrowski of Poland in 4th. The winning time 1:45.37. I think they'll all have been well inside 1:46. It was pretty useful running. 51.22 promised a lot. It wasn't a super fast 2nd lap, but the job done there by Bryce Hoppel, Adrian Ben and Daniel Rowden. And I suppose while you don't want to risk anything, you do want to get through these rounds using as little energy as possible. Having said that, Rob, they've got 2 days now till the semis on Thursday evening, so you can afford to be reasonably extravagant actually in these first round heats. It's a generous timetable for these athletes.
It is, unlike some of the other events that are right backed up against each other. Anderson, I think, has to say goodbye, because Ostrowski with that 1:45.76 is quicker. Yeah, good effort from Anderson, but his time in the queue room has come to an end. So this was the moment that I think